Okay, this is video 8 here. I'm going to make this video. It's going to be about firing your weapon and utilizing and controlling recoil. Now, I'm probably going to cut this one a little bit short because the next one I'm going to do is about having your weapon combat ready and available, and that's going to be a little longer because I have a lot to say. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started here. The number one thing I want to talk about here is recoil. Now, everybody thinks recoil with a 45 is a problem. Now, it's not a problem in the sense that you don't have to be a big, strong, masculine person to control recoil and learn to utilize it. So it's not a problem even for the smallest, weakest shooters. It's not a problem in that sense. Now, it is a problem in this sense. It's not something you get used to over a period of time. You don't get used to recoil and muzzle blast. I'll give you an example here. I worked in the airline industry for about 40 years, and one of the things we dealt with was jet noise around the jet engines when we were working on them. Now, there was a time when people say, oh, you don't have to worry about the noise, you get used to it eventually. Well, it wasn't that you got used to it. What happened was you went deaf. So it's the same way with shooting. You don't get used to recoil and muzzle blast per se. What you do is you develop bad shooting habits. And the more you shoot, the worse your shooting habits are likely to become. Now, how do we overcome this? We overcome this by utilizing a concept of dry practice, which I will show you how to do dry practice on another video. What dry practice does, it allows you to practice the mechanics of handgun shooting without the recoil and the muzzle blast. So if you can do the mechanics of handgun shooting, that's 90% of it right there. That's you're right on top of the situation if you can do that. So, okay, so I dealt with that. Okay, here's another thing about handgun shooting. Now, don't do what I call over-aim. Don't step up to the line and try to aim and place all your shots real precisely. That's not what combat shooting is all about. You want to step up to the line and just square yourself away and put the sights where you want to be, and just fire your weapon normally. But if you over-aim and try to be real precise, that's not the ideology behind combat shooting. So let's see. Okay, one last thing here. I'm planning on going to my local range, and I'm going to make a video demonstrating these principles here. So that'll be in this series later on, so watch for it. So the last thing I'm going to do here on this video, I'm 3 minutes into it now, and this is just about going to finish it up nicely. It's going to run about 5 minutes. I'm going to stand in front of my camera and actually demonstrate how this works in practice. This will be more or less a dry fire exercise or dry practice exercise. We do not use the term dry fire. It's a no-no. Dry practice. See, even I forget things sometimes. You got to watch what you're doing. Now, this is the concept of controlling recoil. You'll be on target. You'll aim. So when you press the trigger and fire, the recoil, it's not this, you know, contrary to what you've always heard and seen in the movies and stuff. Recoil is not this. What's going to happen is more like this. That's about what's going to happen. Now, in actual practice when you're shooting, what's going to happen is you'll fire your weapon, it'll recoil, you'll come back down. The second you come back down and the minute you get back on target, get your front sight back on target, it's already cycled, you'll fire again. the recoil a little bit, you'll come back down, back on target, and fire again. So in actual practice, what you have is something like this: bang, 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 at just about that pace. Now what you don't want to do is, like some people do, and like maybe you see in the movies and stuff, is some people will empty a clip in about 1.5 seconds and not hit anything at all. The shots just go anywhere and everywhere. That's not what you want. You want to control where you place your shots and make the recoil work for you. So anyway, I'm about 6 minutes, not quite 6 minutes into this video, so that's going to do for this. I think this will be a nice little short one. See you on the next video.